Hey everyone, welcome to GTA Online Hot Takes, the show where we look at your hottest takes and then find out if I agree or disagree. Let's get right into it. Lester is a cleverly written character whose relationship with the protagonist actually evolves throughout the Heist DLCs, whereas Pavel's lines are written and performed horribly, but he licks the player's bottom, so almost everybody prefers him. I'd be inclined to be maybe I'm a bit more of a Lester fan myself. Pavel, reason why people are kind of like licking his bottom is for the simple reason that he wasn't Lester. And after having basically every single Heist DLC up until that point, or anything related to Heist, with Lester, a change of pace was pretty much needed. Let's be completely honest about this. Seeing Lester grow throughout the DLCs into, being the guy stuck in his house somewhere, and then at the end, making us all vomit by standing next to the casino with that lady, then yeah, it's a nice way to kind of see the character grow. And generally speaking, he's just a well-written character, and while he is annoying, he is written to be annoying and overly screamy and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't say that Pavel's lines are written and performed horribly. I think he does well. The vibe of it definitely makes sense, with the whole submarine and everything like that, and the infiltration and all that. I don't mind Pavel at all, but if I had to pick for the next Heist DLC which one to go for, I'd probably go Lester again, because I'm curious to see, where he is in life now, especially if the casino heist, is he back to where he was, or is he now happily married and has kids and God knows what. Maybe he's even turned into Michael. Who knows? The Eclipse penthouse interiors aren't that good. The original apartment interiors are the best. Is this guy trolling? I don't know, bro, but I mean, those Eclipse penthouse interiors are just so much better looking than the original interiors. They're just kind of like bland compared to the Eclipse one, really. I don't know where you're getting this idea. I'd love to hear more about this opinion, because that seems, I don't know. Italian GTP is the best car for stunt racing, and HW is stupid. So them thinking that the Italian GTP is the best car for stunt racing, fair enough, you do you. But HSW being stupid, I like this. That's the reason why I picked this one. I want to zoom into this. HSW being stupid, I'd argue that we need more HSW vehicles. Why? I'll tell you why. For the simple reason that HSW vehicles actually provide a challenge and a unique experience to driving in the game. A lot of vehicles often feel very similar to each other because of the lack of speed and just an actual challenge in handling it. If you have something like an HSW Turismo Classic, the brakes are still shit, which means that you have to kind of, reevaluate the way you're driving your car, and just overall, every vehicle that has HSW has a much more interesting driving experience, except for the Issy Rally. That car will still and always will be dog shit. I absolutely hate electric cars in GTA. Nothing against them IRL, but it's difficult to accurately gauge how fast you're going in the game with electric cars. The engine noise and gear shifting gives me a good idea of the speed I'm at, because we all know the speedos in GTA are inaccurate. I hate the car being totally silent. Well, it's kind of a byproduct of an electric car, really, because, it's an electric car that don't make any noise. I'd be inclined to give it a hard disagree on the hatred for electric cars. I think electric cars, like HSW cars, are some of the more interesting cars to drive with in the game. Especially if you got the Cyclone 2 with HSW, that becomes very interesting. But I think that electric cars provide for a very interesting driving experience, and especially in certain tracks, having engine cars going against electric cars definitely makes for some very interesting racing. On the right track, an electric vehicle, or like the iMorgan or anything along those lines, can definitely give other cars a run for their money because of that incredibly high acceleration speed. It definitely is a lot of fun to drive in the right circumstances. But I do get what you mean with the fact of not really knowing how fast you're going. But I guess with electric vehicles it's pretty simple. You press acceleration and in a second or two you're at top speed. The prison break heist is the hardest heist to complete with randoms. Well, I wouldn't say that the heist itself is the hardest to complete. It's more so the fact that the players that do play them, aka the randoms, just are pretty much new to the game, and they just don't really understand how the heists work, don't really want to invest into like getting better, and the vicious cycle kind of continues. You know, the cycle when it comes to heisting with randoms, I might be a bit of an expert with that, you know, I've made a few videos on it. It's simple fact that they don't really want to learn from their mistake. It's the equivalent of a donkey bashing his head into the wall a couple of times thinking stuff will change, which is just not gonna happen. They just get frustrated, then just leave and just wait and cross their fingers until someone comes in and just carries them through the entire heist. Meaning that whenever they are going to attempt the next setup or the next heist, they haven't learned anything. And they haven't paid attention to it either. And some people are just holding their controllers upside down and generally are just not that intelligent. It is what it is. 2015 to 2016 were the only good years for GTA Online. No, I'd be inclined to disagree, to be honest with you. I think there's definitely a better time period. I'm actually kind of planning on doing like a video at some point about like the golden years of GTA Online. So I'll save all that arguments for then, but I think you might want to change it into 2017 because you're kind of forgetting about Doomsday. We need more off-the-wall updates like the Doomsday Heist. That whole era of futuristic gear was the best thing that happened to GTA Online. These last few updates with just cars and some street races have absolutely killed my interest in GTA Online. There's so many cars that look the same, I don't care for more. I want more experimental and wild stuff like Arena Wars. I'm very much in agreement. I think that the last couple of DLCs, Rockstar have played it safe, you know, especially with the rising hatred for like the Mark II and like anything futuristic and military and all that stuff. Rockstar was kind of like, you know, let's go back to basics. But in turn, they've kind of refrained from trying to take any risk. Doomsday definitely took stuff, you know, up like this with the Deluxo and all that stuff. But I think when stuff is still decently balanced, you can still make some very fun and interesting vehicles. And let's be honest about the state of PvP as a whole. At this point, it doesn't really matter whatever they add to the game because it's just going to be clusterfuck anyways. But yeah, definitely would love to see some more creative and interesting vehicles or just content as a whole being added to the game. Even something like a go-kart was interesting, even though we still don't have go-kart races. I mean, we have something in the community series, but it's alright, but I've definitely played better tracks. It's almost like they knew, but they didn't bother making any official modes. GTA Online races are the most bland, boring and uninteresting type of content in the entire game. It can be resumed as a checkpoint simulator every 2 seconds. I personally don't find them thrilling or exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we found someone who only plays Rockstar created stuff because yeah, I could very much see why you would feel that way. I'm gonna give you a big recommendation here. Try to see if you can find some of the more well-made races on a website like gtalands.com. Some of the verified stuff on there is some of the best tracks you will find in the game, made by the community. Even the community series has some pretty decent tracks on there. If you want to know which ones are the more interesting ones to check out, I've done a video for every single month of the community series so far. There's definitely a few good tracks in there. Particularly the one made by Street Racer that was in the first batch of the community series is definitely worth checking out. There are some very good races out there. You just might have to find a group of friends to play them with. Or join me on my Twitch stream. I, check out all kinds of fun stuff on there on Saturdays in playlists and stuff. Join me. Shitty take, but arcade games are very underrated, yet some rewards you with cosmetics. The main reason why I put this take in here is because I feel that I want to highlight the existence of the arcade games and kind of give myself a kick up the ass to go and play them, because I hate to admit it, Casino Heist has been out since 2019 and I don't think I ever really touched them before, even though I know for a fact that the arcade games in there have been specifically made for them and are probably pretty darn good. And I'd say if you have a need to go and do something different in the game, I guess the arcade games are definitely a way to go. But that was it for this Hot Takes episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave it a like, subscribe for more, and if you really like what you see on the channel, become a member like Chloe and GTA Plus. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all later.